One.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Uh, Mr. Kent, you want to go ahead and let me do my piece so we can respect everybody's time? Well, we just got 11:01. I'm sorry. I thought it was.
It's up to you. You can do your introduction. I like
Yeah,
getting right.
they didn't really come to see me anyway, so we can make this quick. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our workshop. Today is creative. What's our title, Kareem? I don't have my notes. I'm sitting
How to develop creative fund business
using
funding
grants.
using grants. Yep.
I knew that. I just wanted to see if you knew that. We have what our presentation today about how to use grants for creative funding in your website for your business. I'm sorry. My name is Carolyn Perry. I'm with the Small Business Center at Vance Granville Community College. I will put my contact information into the chat in just a few moments. I wanted to just say hello to everyone, let you know that we're in for a great workshop today. Also, to let you know that if you live in Franklin, Granville, Vance, or Warren, I am your local resource for small businesses. I used to say that it's free. It's not necessarily free, it's just your taxpayers' dollars at work. So there are no direct costs to you to work with me. Well, work with me. What does that mean, Miss Carolyn? There are three things that I do, although it feels like a lot more. One of them is the workshop that we are getting ready to participate in just a few moments. Right now, most of our workshops are virtual, but we do have some in person workshops. For more on our workshops, you can go to Vance Granville Community College's web page and find upcoming workshops listed on that. The other thing that I do is I work one on one with entrepreneurs, providing entrepreneurial counseling and development, business development, and one on one counseling sessions. Again, no cost to you, and those sessions are available to you in all four of our counties. And then the third and final thing that I do is if you are looking for resources to start or expand your small business, it is my job to help you identify and locate those resources. I have a background in small business lending, so I work a lot with small businesses who are looking for funding for their small business, which brings us to why we are engaging in this workshop today. Because Kareem has some great resources and information. Each time I listen, I found out something new that I didn't know was available to us. So get your pens and pencils. Well, no, that's the other thing. Let me say, participating in the workshop today. If you stay till the end of the workshop, you will get a survey. Please complete that survey for us. You'll be asked about this workshop as well as if you have additional information or workshops that you would like to see information on. Please complete that. It goes back to my Raleigh office, and we actually consider that information when we are putting together our workshops. The other thing that will come out of completing that survey is that you will be eligible. You will be able to receive the slide deck that will go along with today's presentation. So that's all I have. Again, we're in for a great workshop. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see some familiar faces and names here. And at this point, I'll turn it over to our presenter.
All right. Thank you, Miss Carolyn Perry. Appreciate you inviting me once again to do a workshop for the Vance Granville County Community College Small Business Center. They are a great center, y'all. You want to actually be connected with them, and you want to make sure that you use the resources. They have free resources. Um, if you're a business in the Vance Granville County area. Every county in North Carolina has a community college, and they have a small business center. And so you can get free business counseling, free resources from them. So you want to connect with them. They're great. Miss Carolyn is great. Michelle that works with her is a great person also. But I know you all here to really get some information about how to do creative funding using business grants. All right. And feel free, as I said before, you all feel free to pop your business information in the page. I always like to get people to connect with other business owners, see who's in the room. And we'll also, have people introduce themselves quickly. It could be in the chat or you can come off mute. But today is a day of something I like to talk about, and that is um, grants. And I like to say free funding, free resources for your business. And one of the things that people should be thinking about is, and the exercise. Listen, I like interaction, so I don't play around, y'all. So we're just gonna get right into it. I want you, if you can unmute, feel free to unmute. Introduce yourself, your name, your company, and then what might be an ongoing monthly expense for you. So whoever wants to go, feel free to unmute yourself. Give us your name, company or organization, and what is a monthly ongoing expense for you. And if you don't want to unmute, feel free, for those that are not going to unmute and introduce themselves, put in the chat, answer that question in the chat. So anybody want to unmute and introduce themselves? If not, we go
Well,
all, go ahead, Emilio.
how you guys doing today? But yeah, my name is Emiliano Dunn, and I'm the executive director of a 501c3 nonprofit located here in Oxford, North Carolina. We provide underserved communities with hands-on STEM education. We also have a free program that we offer weekly to the kids in our community. We serve Vance County, Granville County, as well as Person County. But one major monthly expense that we have is insurance for our bus, as well as possibly getting nonprofit insurance as well.
All
So
right.
those are two areas that we have monthly expenses at.
Awesome. Thank you, Emilio. All right. Who else? Who else? Anybody else want to unmute themselves and introduce yourself?
I'll go next.
All right. Go
So
ahead.
good morning, everyone. My name is Quinandria Lee. I am a mental health therapist. So I have my own private practice where I do therapy for Black and Brown people specifically, mostly Black women. But I also do a youth mental health conference for Black and Brown girls every year. It's called She's That Girl. So I'm actually looking into turning that into a nonprofit. I have a nonprofit umbrella to encompass that conference. I'm also interested in facilitating a mental health conference specifically for Black and Brown boys as well. So I'm interested in just learning more about grants and how to get started with applying for grants for this conference. So it's great to see you guys.
All right. Thank you. Who else would like to introduce themselves? If not, feel free to answer that question in the chat, your name, your company, and an ongoing monthly expense for your business. Anybody else want to? All right. Jacqueline says wanted to write grants for my church. All right.
Good morning. My name is Elise Inman. My company is Eccentric SQ. I am progressively working towards real estate investing. Right now, I'm a real estate broker. And one of the things that I anticipate, that I know is an ongoing expense is marketing. I mean, real estate is sales, so marketing is an ongoing expense that I'm anticipating will be picking up pretty soon here.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And feel free, like I said before, if you cannot unmute yourself and you don't want to introduce yourself, thank you, Elise. You can actually answer that question in the chat, your name, company, and what might be an ongoing monthly expense. Because I'm going to address this topic with you all and really have you think about what is an opportunity. Thank you, Quentin. What might be an opportunity for you all in reference to actually looking at grants to actually cover some expenses for your business. And so thank you, Quentin, also for putting that in here. Quentin is found a mobile salt works, right? Alternative wellness through our mobile electric. All right, have on-site organizations on his ongoing expenses, his equipment. All right, cool, awesome, man. Thank you all. So my goal today, and some people have been on kind of my presentations before, is to really to share with you information about how to find, apply, receive grants to grow your business. And that is, it could be, you could be a for-profit business, nonprofit business, as we have many different, people in here, but we're going to share this information. And I want you to know that it's going to be a lot of stuff, right? So you'll get the slides, right? And Miss Carolyn, she also will be able to send out those that are part of the Small Business Center to send out this information. But I want to always define for people what the definition of grants are. Now, you can look it up in Wikipedia and encyclopedia, all those things, but I define it a little bit different, right? And so, or similar to other places. It is funding or resources use to cover an expense or an activity for your business. All right. So I want you to be thinking about that, because sometimes a lot of us are looking for funding, right? So we could use funding to help us with our business or organization, but you might actually be thinking about another piece of it is activities, right? And what I mean about activities is thinking about what might be something that you do for your business. That's why I asked you about those monthly expenses, that you could possibly get somebody to actually fund the activity that you're doing for your business, and it might not come in a form of cash all the time. All right. So I'll explain that a little bit more and dive deep. So these are kind of some areas of grants. There are restrictive grants, non-restrictive grants, there's nonprofit grants, there's for-profit grants. And so when we talk about restrictive grants, we those are grants that actually the grantor, whoever the grantor is, right, they tell you what you can use this grant for. So let me give you an example. There's a grant right now by DoorDash, and DoorDash has a grant for restaurants. So it's restrictive just to restaurants. Two is restricted to restaurants or hospitality businesses that have been in a disaster area. So it's restrictive, right? So if you go to DoorDash and say, "Hey, I am a restaurant and I'm not located in a disaster area," and you can't prove it, you're not gonna be approved for it. So I share that with people because a lot of people are looking for certain things for their business or organization, but you have to understand the eligibility of what the funder is going to do, right? And so non-restrictive grants is what people are usually always looking for. That means you get some funding and you can use the funding for whatever you want. Now, there are non-restrictive grants out there, but usually they don't come very often like the restricted ones. And then also, depending on your entity, you could be a nonprofit, for profit, you could be a startup, you could not have an entity developed, and you could receive grants also. And so, and I'll share some stories about some of the stuff I worked on before. And so, I know there's probably people in the room that there's a yes, but have you received a grant for your business or organization? If you have, if you could put a yes in the chat, if you received a grant for your business or organization before, just put a yes in the chat. And the reason why I bring that up is that I want you to be thinking about that if you receive one already, that means you can receive another one, right? Or you have a process of you have experience with a grant. And because you have experience with the grant, just think about that process that you went through already. And what if you could just replicate that process over and over and over again, right? To help you out for your business activities, for your business growth. Now, I want you to be thinking about what goals, right? So I said before, hey, get your notepad software out, get your pen and paper out, and this is going to be it's going to help you today to really get a little bit more focused, right? And so what you might say, what might be some goals that I want for my business in 30, 60, 90 days, or maybe a year? And when you think about those goals, you can write them down. I mean, if you have them real quick, right, it might be like, hey, I need a new piece of equipment. Or someone said, I'm looking to write a grant for my church. So say, for instance, the church is looking, to do a program for kids after school. That might be a goal. We want to start this program by whatever such a date, or we want to do this growth by this such and such a date. And when you have those goals, The reason why the goals are important, because that is how then you can strategically look at what might be some opportunities for some grants for your organization or business. All right. What usually happens, and I talk to a lot of people, they are usually being in the reaction mode, right? So, like, I talked to a gentleman the other day. He's like, "Hey, I need to pay my payroll, and by this certain day, and I need money for a grant as soon as possible." Right? That in a couple days, a couple weeks, might happen, might not happen. Right? I never, um, you know, mess up people's goals and dreams, but I just tell them that there might be some barriers there. But if you know of goals that you can actually obtain, then sometimes you could back into that time frame, right? So let me give you an example. Um, I live here in Johnson County, North Carolina. I do a lot of work in Wake County. Um, and they have a grant that if you open up a retail or a retail business in certain areas in the city of Raleigh, you can get a rehab grant or a grant for a sign for your business. But guess what? You only apply for that 4 times a year. So if you needed that money as soon as possible and that grant application is not open, you're not going to be able to apply for it. So that's what I'm saying. If you have goals, then sometimes you could marry the grant application timeline to what you're trying to do, right? Or you might have to change some stuff. So that's the reason why I say think about goals about your business, think about goals about your organization, and then sometimes you could actually marry that to kind of like time frames of what you're looking for, right? So these are some of the challenges that I've seen and you all probably have dealt with before. I don't have enough time to search for grants. I don't have enough time to apply for grants. I don't know where to look, where to start. And then how do you apply? How do you put together the best application or the best grant information? And then people might say it's too much paperwork, right? And so I'm gonna share some information about things you want to think about and how it could help you, right? I'm also going to show you a little bit about AI and how you can use AI to help you out to work on some of these processes. So here's a couple of people I've helped over the years. During COVID-19 was a big opportunity in which I had a contract with the state of Rhode Island. Me and a partner, and we actually helped over 100 plus businesses apply for grants and forgivable loans, and you know, um, continued that process. We're working with more people, and so there recently, and I give a shout out to the Small Business Center here at Vance Granville County. They did a pitch competition, and I remember talking to Bujoy Media. I think a week before the pitch competition, I said, "Hey, there's a pitch competition going on, and you might want to apply for it." Guess what? All of the spots were filled up, but somebody dropped out, and then they actually got into the slot, and they actually pitched their business. They got um a $2,500 grant for the business to help out the business and more businesses. And so you want to be thinking about opportunities, and I want to dispel the myth of if you apply for a grant you're not going to get it. You usually hear that from people that probably only apply for one and they got declined. You have to be in the process of applying for many. And so myself, I own a franchise. I receive about six grants. I'll show you some of those myself. I usually use them for workforce training and hiring people. Like for instance, there's this pet franchise we helped in California. They hired 3 employees. They got $5,000 of a grant to hire and train employees, and so that's huge. We helped a for-profit agency in Massachusetts get $200,000 grant for equipment. So you can actually be strategic, but what you want to be thinking about is what things can I do? As I said before, for the people that came on later on, that question, I had a question of what business monthly expense that you currently have. Just think about it. You can write it down on a note app, and then write down the amount. Just imagine that expense is covered by a grant. So, like, here's one of a grant that we received to do some training for one of my businesses. We received $10,000 to train us as owners and train employees. And actually, the organization that has given us that grant actually do some contracting work for them right now in Wake County to help out business owners start, right. So just a little bit about my journey. I went to Johnson Wells University for business, stayed there. Thought I was gonna just do my bachelor's, get out of there. I stayed for my master's, worked at the school, left there, worked for BJ's Wholesale Club, did some training for the executives, and the organization. I left BJ's Wholesale Club, and then I got into this whole thing about economic development, helping small businesses out. I ran a small business administration program for the entire state of Rhode Island, and then got recruited from a bank and started being a commercial lending officer for a bank, and helping them out. Then left the bank, continued to do economic development stuff, learned about, these grants. A lot of positions that I actually had in economic development had a grant, usually sometimes from a federal government agency or state agency, and that would pay me for my salary or pay me for my contract. And then 2021 moved down here to the great state of North Carolina and got into franchising Little Caesars. And so we've used grants to help us grow our business or to help take care of an expense, right? Or an activity that we were going to use anyway. And all I can say is that it takes time, it takes effort, but there's ways that you can continuously get help. So this is kind of like a reimbursement check we receive from an agency. We would actually pay our employee every 2 weeks, and then we will submit an invoice saying this is what we paid the employee, and then they will reimburse us 75% of what we paid that employee during the hiring and training. So I like these grants for workforce development because they usually are always out there and active, and they usually don't have deadlines, right? And so these are things. Feel free, you could take a screenshot of this. These are grant areas that you want to think about. You could use it for employee training, hiring. I'm gonna show you another grant we got approved for that, and I'll explain it. You use the upskill employees. You can use it for leasehold improvements or expenses for business growth, right? You can use a grant for business growth. It could be for your organization, your business. And then the biggest one people forget about, business service education. You as a business owner, you as or nonprofit executive organization, instead of you always paying for business education, there are programs that will actually give you a scholarship, right, to actually attend the program, or somebody else might put up the money for you to attend a business education program, right? And so you don't have to always think that, hey, I got to pay for this training and stuff like that. We've used grants to help us out for trainings also. And then here's my SMART method. I tell people, here's the SMART method, right? So you want to search, you want to have the ability to search very quickly, efficiently, and I'll give you some tools to do that. You want to be able to measure the grants you're looking at, right? Looking at them and say, hey, this one is, I'm not going to apply for this because I'm not eligible, or this might take too long, or this is not in my wheelhouse. You want to measure, look at the eligibility, then you want to apply, right? Fill out the application, fill out the grant information, and then you want to receive it, right? So receive the grant, you work on it, and then you track it, you repeat the process. So this is a SMART method, right? So, and you can repeat it on and on again. That's what I've done with workforce development grants. I repeat the same process. I have the templates, I have the information, I have the contacts, and every time I want to use it, I go back and use that also. So, is this good so far, y'all? Is this good? If this is good, put a one in the chat. I know I've dumped a bunch of information. If this is good so far, put a one in the chat. So I'm gonna share with you all some grants now. Thank you all. Thank you. I see my good friend Nicole's in here, good friend Dr. Shakina. So I'm gonna share with you some grants. It's not gonna be applicable for everyone, but I just want to show you what's out there. So Hiring Heroes, they have a small business grant program for veterans. So if you know somebody is a veteran, you know somebody wants to start a business, there are grants out there for veterans. Now, the organizations do have stipulations FedEx has a grant that they come out every single year. I think I have a friend that won this grant a couple of times, one time because they were shipping products, right? So this grantor, FedEx, they're looking for businesses that have a product, they're going to ship things out, right? And then they have a program for them. Verizon has a grant program. I think it comes out once a year, one time a year. So it's very, time limited. And I think it's like 10,000. So you have to take classes with them. And you're probably saying, why are for-profit organizations giving out grants? One, they want to be good community folks. Two, they're in the business of making money, right? So wouldn't it be nice that you could take some funding from your marketing dollars and develop a grant program? You capture people's information, emails, telephone numbers, and you market to them. You market to them information about your business, right? And I see a lot of people, I see a lot of coaches doing it now. I see a lot of people that's doing business services now. They are offering grants to their community of people they want to sell to, right? I think it's a great idea, right? Instead of always using marketing dollars, how about give a business or give an organization a grant, and then you capture people's information, and you might want to, it might be something that you all might want to do. I'm just sharing with you. So hearing, and I'll put some stuff because I know most of the people are here in North Carolina. So Duke Energy Foundation, they have a grant that's due October 31st. So this is for eligible nonprofits. So if you're a nonprofit, I know we got some nonprofits in here. They have a grant process that they actually want to do some help out some small business owners. So if you are a nonprofit and you want to help out small business owners, and what it is that they will give you money to go out and they give grants to help out small businesses. So if you're a nonprofit, this might be something that you're interested in. And I'm gonna show you some other ways that you can actually search for grants also. All right. So let me stop here. I've been talking probably for like 25 minutes. So let me see what questions that you have so far about what I talked about already. So feel free, put some questions in the chat. I have some more information to go over, but I just want to stop. I like to stop before I go over too much stuff and just see what questions that people have. So I see
Got
Emil,
two
I don't know
questions.
if you have a question. Go ahead, my friend.
All right, so with the first question was, when you showed us that veterans grant, if we does the like being that we're a nonprofit and we have a board, we have veterans on our board. So does that mean we would qualify for that grant possibly?
It depends. So like I said before, it depends on the eligibility, and I'll pull up some grants so we can look at some eligibilities. Um, but it might be, I pulled it up to say, hey, you might be a veteran yourself, and you might want to apply for a grant maybe for your business. Now they might have, since you're a nonprofit, they might have organizations that, and they have an eligibility, say, listen, I want to help out a veteran run organization, or people that's on a board that are veterans. And then you just take a look at the stipulations, but we'll take a look at the eligibility. But good
And,
question.
and my last question was regarding the Duke Energy grant. So basically, that's a pass-through grant.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Pass through grant. So that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of different things, that you want to learn. Because I was just meeting with somebody the other day. I'm like, oh, this is a pass through grant. I'm like, all right. So they're gonna pay you, right, an administrative fee to come up with a program so you could go out and help out small businesses as a nonprofit, right? So there's a lot of nonprofits that receive funding from for-profit or nonprofit organizations, and then they go out and help out for-profit businesses. So I work on a contract with Wake County, and they receive federal funds and state funds from American Rescue Plan Act funding, and then they actually take that money. Some of it is used for administrative stuff, but most of it is used for grants to for-profit businesses and to help people start a for-profit business. So it might be sometimes finding out the right places to go. So good. Thank you for the questions. Anyone else? Anyone else? Feel free, if you have a quick question about what I went over so far, put in the chat. Like I said, I like interaction. And I'm gonna show you the next area is gonna show you how to start searching for grants and start how to apply for grants. So anyone else has a quick question before I move forward? All right, I don't see anything, so I'm moving forward. All right, so will you have a list of these grants available to capture? I won't have a list of grants, but I will share a number of grants of how you could find those grants. Yes, I will provide a link for that Duke grant. So I'm going to show you real quick, everyone, how do you use Google Alerts. So this is, let me get out of here now. So all my slides are going forward for some reason, but let me exit presentation here, and I'm gonna get you all into, I'm gonna show you this one. So all right, so you all, if you have your computer, if you have your phone out, I'm gonna show you how you can search for grants very quickly. I like to use Google, it's free, right? And if you go to google.com/alerts, you can actually have the AI tool, Google, search for grants for you automatically. All right, automatically. So as you can see here already, I already have a number of grants searching for certain things for me. So you could go up here and you can set up automatically so it can send you grants that are active every single day or every single week. So say for instance, I'm gonna put a heart. Say for instance, I'm in Alaska, right? And I'm gonna just put grants. I'm not gonna put what I'm searching for, right? If I just put Alaska grants, there's already stuff that comes up in Alaska grants. What I want to do is create an alert. And so what you could do with this alert in Google AI tool, you can actually say, I want to get an email, once a day. I want to get an email as it happens once a week. I want you to search all these different places. Of course, it's English. If you want it just to be United States, but I just want everything, right? And you have a region, how many times. I want only the best results, and I want you to deliver it to my email. So when you click on this, I just created an alert that automatically will actually search Google and send me searches of grants in my area. So this is the way how you can reduce the time that you are actually looking at grants and things like that, because time is money, right? Right. I'm just say it just like it is, right? Time is money. And if you can reduce the amount of time that you're searching for grants and use an AI tool, is going to help you out. And so that is like the biggest thing I show people. Like a lot of people talk about, oh, Google, whatever. A lot of people search on Google. So why not use that tool, that AI tool that is giving us this information to actually help you find grants? So I could just click on, let's see here. Let me see. I'm gonna click on my Chicago, Illinois one because I know I had searched before. So I could just go in this alert, right? And it has grants here. So I might just look at it, see if there's something here, right? So like there was a pitch competition. So I'll click on it and see if it's applicable for me, or see if it's applicable that I um want to take a look at. So now it's taking some time to pull up, but that's just how it is, right? So but when it pulls up, we could take a look at it. The Duke Energy grant, somebody asked me for the link. I'm gonna put that in the chat. So the link that I just put in the chat was for the Duke Energy grant. I'm gonna click off of this because it's taking too much time to load. But let's see. Let's see if this one comes up. City launches funding program for local nonprofits, right? So if I was in Chicago or the city of Laredo, they are going to give out, let's see here, a single business can receive up to 25,000 for those interested in improving and restored outdoor spaces. So if I was in that city and if I wanted to apply for that grant, Google Alerts search for it, and I just took a look at the information, right? So that is how you want to reduce the time that you are looking for grants, by using Google Alerts. And this is emailed to me in my email, so I could go through my email and just see what's going on. So sometimes, like So I had a client in Louisiana, and I set up an alert so I could send them information about grants, right? And so I could just go to that alert, or I could check my email and see if there's stuff that is applicable, right? So that's Google Alerts. Also, this is Grant Watch. If you haven't heard about it before, grantwatch.com it does cost money, just to let you all know. I sometimes use it when I'm working with clients to look at a number of grants. It's a good search tool. It does cost money, but I share it with people. Some people have signed up for themselves, but if you're like actively looking for grants, if you're a nonprofit, this is a good place to go. People, I know a lot of people talk about grants.gov. Grants.gov is a lot of times those grants are really for like high level type nonprofits or organizations. But I know when you do a search, grants.gov comes up, right? So let's get back here. All right. So I showed you Google Alerts. If you all want, you could screenshot this, or you could go to the bit.ly link and I'll put the Hello Skip. So Hello Skip, I know a lot of people hear me talk about Hello Skip because Hello Skip is a good one too. I'm gonna put in the chat the Hello Skip link. But Hello Skip, I'm gonna go to the site. So Hello Skip has sign up for the free version. Listen to me, sign up for the free version, y'all, for Hello Skip. And it really helps you about funding for your startup, for your business. So if you click on, let's see, it should just automatically bring me in. If you click on Hello Skip, they give out grants all the time. So let me just click off here. So Hello Skip, they currently, all right, it reminds me of all the time they have grants and stuff like that. So they currently, the 17th of Friday, they have $1,000 instant grant coming out. They usually give out a grant every single week to people, and you could apply for it. And so I put the link in there for Hello Skip. I know some people have Hello Skip, but the big thing with Hello Skip, you can get a bunch of information for free in one place, and then you could actually go and Google and search for the grant to see if you want to apply for it. So, but Hello Skip has their own grants, right? And it's very easy. You click on apply. So as I told people, sign up for Hello Skip, the free version, and then you could just because it's going to ask you to sign up for the paid version, and that's where you can use AI. So if you have the paid version, it can help you write stuff, but use the free version, and just like that, I could hit and I submitted for this grant October 17th, right? So of course, yeah, it's gonna ask me all the stuff. Okay, maybe later. But Hello Skip also has other certain things out there. Like they're big on trying to help businesses get funding or write business plans. Like they have a website here. You can set up a domain. I tell people with your nonprofit or for-profit organization, you sign up for Hello Skip, put a public listing here. I think it's free. But as you can see here on the top right, because of my activity, I could actually on Friday possibly get a grant up to $700, right? But let me show you some other stuff here. Let me go back to the main page. And so as you can see here, Hello Skip has a lot of grants they actually talk about. So they have this Aurora Tech Award, the 15% pledge runway. It tells you when it's due, the Galaxy Grant, Toast Changemakers Program, right? And the Breathe or Thrive grant. So some of these you can apply within Hello Skip. Some of these you have to go outside Hello Skip. So what I tell people, so like the Breather grant, let's click on this. I think you have to apply on the outside. Oh no, you can apply on the inside. But let's just say, for instance, this is not affiliated with Hello Skip. I will go up to Google. I will put the name in Hello Skip, and I will find where the Breather grant is. Now, Breather, it is I think it's a Durham business, and they do a lot of funding and fintech stuff. And so you could go on here and see what the rules are. What are they looking for, right? Thank you very much for that question, Georgiana. I'm gonna answer that one soon. And so it tells you right there, this is the eligibility. You have to be a for-profit, have to be in the US, DC, US territory. You have to be operating for 12 months, right? So if I go in here and I see what the eligibility is and I meet the eligibility, I might want to apply for this grant. You could get up to $5,000 for this grant, right? And so that's what I do with the skip stuff. I go in the skip and I see if any of the grants are applicable, and if I could apply within Hello Skip, I would. If not, I will go out the system and put it in Google. It's all right. So Georgiana says, what kind of activity qualifies you for funding in Hello Skip? So if you go in here, it tells you, you click on the information, it tells you how do you qualify for up to $1,000, right? Did you create a business plan? You can add a business bank account? I don't have that, right? But added a website, you refer one person to Skip, you completed the application, you completed the grants vault. So that makes you active. And then what I do like about Hello Skip is they should, and I'm trying to see where they have it. They tell you, I'm gonna click back on instant grants. They tell you the people that have received grants before. So which is awesome. So you could go here, and then they do their drawing right on YouTube Live. So you could go here and kind of look at what people they funded before. So that's why Hello Skip, they put it right out there in your face and show you this information. All right. So that's the next one. All right. Any more questions? Feel free to drop in the chat. Drop in the chat, y'all. Let me get this one up here. You all want to take a screenshot of this. This is I call it my money question. This is the money question. So if you are ever talking to a funder, right? This is what I want to tell you all. I talked a whole a lot, not a whole lot. Now I'm gonna get my English all funny, right? But I talked to a lot of people, a lot of funders, a lot of government people, and this is what they say to me. I am tired of someone calling me up or emailing me or talking to me for 10, 20 minutes about their story, about their organization, about their business, and they just give me this sob story. I'm a minority business, a woman-owned business, and I sat there for 10, 20 minutes just listening to them. They didn't ask me anything about myself. They didn't ask me anything about the funding eligibility. They don't and so what happens is that those people get turned off, not meaning that they not going to help you, but don't make it about yourself, make it about them. So this is what you want to use. Take a screenshot of it, y'all. Write it down. You want to use this one. Introduce yourself. Say, hello, my name is, Jack. I represent this organization. This is what we do. This is the people that we help. What resources do you have for me? You pause, you stop, you don't say nothing else after that. That's how you introduce yourself. So if I called up a funder or somebody that was potentially going to give me some funding, that's what I would do. Hello, how you doing? My name is Karriem. I operate this type of business. This is the product or service that we provide. What resources do you have for me? And I pause. I don't say anything else. Let me tell you, this stuff works. You know why? Because the person then says, oh, they are interested in me telling them how I can help them out. And then sometimes it might not unlock everything that you're looking for, but it's going to unlock some stuff, right? So I had somebody use it. They were getting into a cannabis business and they were looking for grants. And I'm like, it's very slim for probably those businesses, but they got resources, right? And so you use this because it's going to help you. You got to make a connection with people, man. If people have money and funding and they're going to connect with them, right? They usually say before it takes 7 times to connections to make a sale, right? And you should be thinking about that for your organizations. You might be continuously have to follow up with people. And I've done it myself. I've walked in people's offices. I've called their phones. I emailed them multiple times. After a while, they could tell me that, you know what, you stop bombarding me, but guess what? I'm going to do it until I get a result. Right. And so the other thing I want to show you all too, let me get up my other slide here. What's my other slide? So this is, I would tell people have an Excel tracking sheet. Keep a tracking sheet with you so you can track your grants, who you apply for, which ones that you're looking at, put the links together. It's just an easier way to kind of look at things, right? And that is just gonna help you out. And I'm gonna show you the next thing is my chat GBT. Who anybody, hey, if you use chat GBT for anything, put a one in the chat, y'all. Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you use chat GBT. Put a one in the chat. I like to get things going, right? So I'm gonna give you some prompts, and that's what they call it, prompts that you can use in chat GBT. And you don't even have to have the paid version, right? Awesome. All right, people use the chat. So I could go in here and I could say, I want you to be a grant writer and researcher for 20 years. That has 20 years. Like, we don't want to put that. That has 20 years of experience, right? Because what you're trying to do with the AI is to prompt it to be somebody, right? For you. And it says right here, right? It says like, all right, that means that you want me to analyze grant eligibility, craft winning narratives, develop proposals, grant research, right? So I already told it what I wanted to start doing. Then I might say, listen, I'm gonna put it here. This is for Miss Jacqueline. I am a church and I want to apply for grants in my community. What might be some places to look at? And if you had the location, you could put the location there, right? And so you just let it start doing this thing. It's gonna start searching. So it's gonna tell you these are the places that you want to look at. Look at community foundation. Look at denominational or faith-based grant resources. Look at grant databases. Look at building relationships with locally community foundations. And then I don't know where it's looking at what state. It just gave me some stuff already. The Lilly Endowment Foundation, Mustard Seed Foundation, the denominational grants, Carolyn. So already gave me information. So what you want to do with the AI is prompt it to say, this is what I want you to do for me. I want you to be this person. And then these are the things that I want. And so I guess it looked at here, if you want something specific in North Carolina, your county, then you could go further. And you could just keep on going deeper, keep on going deeper, keep on going deeper, right? So like for instance, Amelia said he's looking for someone that covers the insurance, right? So I might put that, how can I get a grant to cover insurance for my mobile? I'm gonna put nonprofit here, right? And it's gonna go through. And first of all, it says smart question, right? Essentially, delivering a funded program, we need a grant to pay for insurance. It tells you what most grant makers don't like to fund general overhead. So it already tells you, which is true. A lot of grantors don't like to fund overhead, but certain things. But it tells you here, maybe contact these organizations: North Carolina Community Foundation, United Way, Department of Health and Human Services, federal grants, faith-based grants, and then it breaks down what might be the cost of your insurance, example language you could use, and then next step action plan. Is this helpful, y'all? Hopefully this is helpful. This is going to help you to cut down a lot of time when you're doing grants. I've taken questions from a grant application and popped them in chat GBT after I prompted it, and it answered questions for me. I just used this for a gentleman that I was helping that was doing a sober living housing. And so he had me recently help him apply for an application and a grant. And then I took the questions. First of all, I prompted it. I said, I want you to act like you're reviewing this grant as someone for Department of Health and Human Services. Here's the questions, here's the organization, and help me come up with answers. Let me tell you, it was great. Now, you do want to make an edit because people could tell what ChatGPT looks like. You want to edit it for your style and your information. You want to use Grammarly to do the grammar stuff. And so this is one way that can help you out. So look, it just already gave me all this information just by me prompting this, right? So you can also use it to search for grants, right? You can go in here and say, let me see. I saw some people in the chat that I'm gonna use somebody here. Prime Care Associates, we would love to apply as grants as possible in our area of service. Prime Care Associates, what do you do? Amina, is it mental health? I think, is it mental health? I think that's what it is.
It's home care.
Home care.
Yes.
All right. And you have expenses like what? What type of expenses do you have?
We have rent. We have electricity in the office. We have transportation of clients to doctor's appointments.
You hire and train people, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's just see. Let's use the hire and training. So I'm gonna just put it a home healthcare business and looking for grants to hire and train employees. Right. And so I'm gonna be honest with you. You're in healthcare. You have home healthcare. One of the things you should be looking at to see how you can cover the cost when you hire and train employees, especially in home healthcare, has a the retention of employees is higher. Well, is the turnover is higher. Kind of like, you know, me owning a Little Caesars pizza store. I have a lot of turnover, so I like to use grants as much as I can if I can use them when I hire full-time people. So it already says here, hey, key considerations, health workforce programs. It gives you all these programs that you could possibly look at, grants. Department of Labor, NC Works here in North Carolina is huge. The Department of Labor, they do a lot of hiring and training grants. They do work experience. There's sometimes you don't have to hire someone, you can give them a work experience, and then Department of Labor pays them directly, y'all. I'm telling you. And this is a way that you can actually get some help with labor, or maybe you get an intern, right? Some people are always saying, hey, I have an independent business. I don't want to hire people. I don't have money to hire people. Maybe you could get an intern from a college. Maybe you could get another organization to help you out with some processes, right? So let's see here if there's some grant. And it says here, example grant ideas that could be applicable. You could develop an apprenticeship program, state incumbent worker training, health work. So there's a number of stuff here. So use the AI, prompt it for you all, right? And prompt this information. All right. What else? Any other questions? You're welcome. So I tell people, imagine this, right? Imagine you find the right grant for your business within 30 days. Imagine you start using AI so you can stop wasting time looking for grants, applying for grants, and then you gain confidence. So you gain confidence to go through this stuff. And so forget about what other people are saying. It doesn't work, right? Why spend your time on doing it where you can do something else? I say, hey, if you're not in the game of asking, you're not going to receive. And so, what do you all like about what I shared so far? I'm also going to share a free resource with you all. But what do you all like about so far? We got like 6 more minutes left. And I think I had something. Oh yeah, here's the one. I'm going to give you the stat real quick. This is a stat from grantwatch.com, right? Demo of tools. All right, cool. This is the stats. So it says, what percentage of grant applications get funded? This will help you out, right? Elise, you have your hand up. If you have a question, go right ahead. While I'm talking about this.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you your feedback, but I'll wait until you're done.
All right, cool. So this is gonna help people out, because a lot of people say, man, stop applying for grants, it's so hard, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm tired of hearing that. Like, I'm just like, listen, if you're not applying, I don't want to hear nothing. Just like apply, put in an application. It might not be all correct, but just do it. If you apply for a local grant, 25 to 50% of small businesses will receive a yes, right? 25% of those applications, right? At higher odds are due to fewer application and local focus. So a lot of small businesses don't even apply, but they actually will get approved 25 to 50%. So how I look at this is like this. If I apply for 10 grants, I probably might win 1 or 2. But you got to apply for a lot to receive maybe 1 or 2. And then, it just gives you the percentages here, and it says, like, gives you notes, right? State government, funder type, moderate competition, federal government, high competition, foundation grants. It depends. Corporation grants often tied to corporate goals or branding. So that is the odds of you getting a grant. So if you put in one application, you might get it, you might not, who knows? But if you put in 10, you might get one or two, right? So so hopefully that helps. All right, Elise, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioned something very on point. If I heard you correctly, you mentioned something about sober living houses.
Yep.
Okay, that was one thing that I had not considered would be eligible for a grant. So thanks for mentioning that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for attending. Yeah, so healthcare, well, I can say if anybody's in that field, there's a lot of grants out there, right? You could go to let's see, NC, let's see, I wish I remember the website, but North Carolina, they do a great job of posting all the opportunities that the state has for grants. So they have this, and I'll put this in the chat. I mean, a lot of states don't do this, but they do it good. So you could go here on this website, I'll put it in the chat, and you could just scroll down by area: agriculture, arts and culture, disaster recovery, community service, economic development. But I'm gonna go to the healthcare stuff. Education might be good for you. For A8 nonprofit, you could go down to, let me go, environment. A lot of stuff around environment, recycling. That's a big area too for grants. Health and human services, right? Climate change grants. So if I was in health and human services, guess what I'm doing, y'all? I'm gonna click on one of these grants that might be applicable to me. And I don't know if they have a contact, but I might click on a PDF and find a contact person. And guess what I'm doing? I'm picking up the phone. Hey, how you doing? My name is Karriem, and I run a organization that helps people with sober living. And then I want to see what resources you have. And then I'll let the person answer. That person, their job is to help me out and help this community out. So I'm gonna make a relationship with them. And they might be saying, hey, guess what? Boom, 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 like there's a lot of times there are grants out there. Thank you, Kimberly. There are grants out there that are never marketed or published. They don't have marketing dollars. The dollars should be going for a specific purpose. They're not going to have marketing dollars to market and tell people about all the grants, the time frames, and things like that. Other thing I want to show you, I'm gonna show you the Raleigh Phillip grant because I like it. This one is good. Many communities have this same type of grant funding. It's just that Raleigh does it. They put it out there. So they have this grant where it's called Building Up Fit Grant. And the goal of it is that to assist property owners or people that lease property from property owners to actually rehab a commercial building or bring the facade back up. And they match a 50-50%. Many communities have this, especially downtown areas have this. They just don't call them that. They might call them facade grants or Main Street grants. And as you can see, they have deadlines to meet. Right? So it opens up. Close date is the 20th, October 12th. They just finished one, February 1st, April 26th. So you just got to call the economic development people. What else here? Let me go back to my slide. All right, get the free ebook, y'all. Get the free ebook. Also, I'm gonna go next. If anybody wants to join my community, I have a monthly low cost community. You can take a picture of it. Take a look at it. I post grants. I post Q&A stuff. But yeah, hopefully, I know this was helpful. I'm not going to say hopefully. I know it's helpful. I know it's helpful. But if anybody wants to connect with me, I will put in the chat. I do 15-minute roadmap meetings. I'm going to stop sharing. I know some people might have to go, but if you have to skedaddle, it's all good. I am going to put in the chat if you want to set up a meeting with me, 15-minute good. Quick meeting. I'll put that in the chat. I know, Dr. Shakina. I need to get back up to New England, right? Right. I know. But thank you for attending. That people from all over attending, man. This is good. And so feel free if anybody has any questions, pop those in the chat. If you want me to answer something for you, if you want me to reiterate, I'll stay on for another 10 minutes answering questions. If if you signed up through Vance Granville Community College small business link, Miss Carolyn will send out I think the slides and the recording. From other folks, just connect with me. I put my links there. But questions that people have, questions, thank you, you're welcome. Any questions that people want me to answer, anything that you want me to reiterate, feel free to ask me. Thank you. I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate all of y'all very much for attending and taking your time out of your day today. Anything you want to ask me, feel free, put in the chat or just come off mute and I'll contact you. Also, Emiliano, man, I told you that, man, you got to go to that insurance company, man, and say do you want to sponsor my you want to sponsor my van? They might take you up on it,
I would definitely reach out to Progressive. Another a quick resource probably will help out. On the Chat GPT thing, something that I found successful was creating a project folder, and inside that project folder, we're firstly doing the same prompting you did as far as creating a role, and then taking that role and copy and pasting it in your project folder and putting it inside the instructions. And then that way, when you go to that project folder, it'll operate as that grant writer, and it will be more so everything will be sectioned off rather than, let's just say, like you got 3 different topics that you're working on. It would just be strictly grant writing in that one folder, and then you can make another one that's more so a grant researcher or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's just utilizing the instructions in the project folder.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yep. Project folder, man. I tell people all the time, you apply for one grant, keep that information in one place, and you could just keep on using it. Keep on using it. Like I give you're welcome, Nicole. I help clients to keep that same information because once you have it, if your organization is the same, it's just, hey, I got the main crux of the organization information already, the name, the address, the mission, the EIN, the telephone number. So now you're just filling in the gaps, right? And so if you already know your organization, now you just fill in the gaps what they're looking for. So like I don't know, I'm just like say for instance, United Way, right? United Way has a grant to do community service in a community. Your organization does STEM, right? So you just fill in those gaps. My organization does STEM. Here's my organization, and then you look at the eligibility requirements for the grant, and you marry that to the grant, right? And you just use that information over and over again, right? Because it's gonna help you. That's what a lot of grant writers do, right? They work with an organization, they got the information for the organization, and then they just take and fill in the gaps of what that grant application is looking for.
Like we got our first funding through United Way, and being that we got our first grant, of course they would like to help us get another one, but a lot of times, like, we first start off with 1,500, but we would like to see more. Do you think it possible that after the first year, after that first year of seeing our impact, they could possibly increase that?
Yeah. I listen, man. Anytime you receive a grant from anyone, you always want to continue to have a relationship with them, right? Even before the grant is over, because they might know something that you don't know about. You might go back to them like, hey, thank you very much for the 1,500. Do you know of anything else that we could use? Do you know of anybody else I could connect with, right? Or just like I said, thinking about the goals. Like if you think about the goals you want to achieve in the future, that might be something that you bring up to them. Like, hey, man, we want to make a bigger impact. And would you all be willing to help us out to make a bigger impact? I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been in meetings where the people that gave out the funding created the opportunity, and said, listen, man, we got $500,000. We want to give it to you. How can we help you create the opportunity to get this money out on the street? So I've seen that happen many of times where people, especially depending on when people deadlines are. So like sometimes government deadlines run from July to June. And so I will always teach people that, hey, like in April, or May, you should better be calling your funders that funded you and be like, hey, do you got any money that's not allocated somewhere or somebody else could use? Listen, I get people to call me all the time from the workforce development agencies like, yo, Karriem, man, I got this money. I gotta get it out in less than 30 days. Do you know of a business owner that needs his money? So then I start calling people I work with and I say, hey, guess what? There's this workforce development pool of money. They need to allocate it within 30 days. Can you come up with a training or hire somebody within 30 days to get this money? And some people have, some people haven't, so
They give you a call, let us know.
huh?
They give you a call, let us know.
I know, right? I know. He's right.
Another thing I was asking, I'm gonna take one time though. But as far as it go with Candy, like I had Grant Station and everything, but I looked at getting on Candy, and we're on GuideStar and everything, but I looked at the subscription, and the subscription is like $300 a month, and another one is $100, like a 129 a month. So I was told that possibly looking at certain libraries, and certain libraries may possibly have those subscriptions. Do you know if Richard Thornton might be one of those libraries, or even Perry Memorial?
Yeah, I would call up and talk to the resource person and ask them, do they have subscriptions to those databases? That's a good idea. Yep. So if you all don't have the funds or want to pay for funds for databases, call up your local library and talk to the business resource person or the resource person and say, do you have subscriptions to these databases? Sometimes, because you have already have a library card, if you go to that database online, you might be able to access that database with your library card remotely. Sometimes. Then sometimes you might have to go in and use them. But I tell people the number one thing you want to do, you want to talk to the people that fund you. So if it's United Way, you should be saying, hey, you want to talk to them again, send them an email, talk to the people that helped you out and have that relationship. You might want to connect with them every month, right? Sometimes I do that to the with the labor people that I use for grants, because sometimes I don't know when I'm gonna need an employee. Oh, I forgot to show you all that too. I mean, you all are on here too. Oh, let me see if I can find that. I forgot to show you all this one too, man. I just recently received a. It's not a grant, but it's for people that employ people. Man, I don't even know where I put that thing at, man. I'll find it. I'll find it. Let me see if I can find it. I receive. I'll just tell you. I received a bonding. You could get bonded if you hire employees. So my employers. I know sometimes people. Nope, I don't know where I put it. But sometimes I can show. I think I got it in my folder. I received a bonding for a person I was gonna hire. I did not hire them yet, but they were was a reentry person, was on probation, and so I received a $5,000 bond if I hired this person. And say, for instance, something happened during that time, I could go back and say, hey, I got a loss or something happened, up to $5,000. So this is another thing that can help you if you are hiring employees, if you're hiring, people that are reentry or just whatever. You could actually get a bond, and if something happens within, this was from how many, I don't know, 3 months, about like 6 months. If something happens while they employ with you, you could actually go and submit a claim up to $5,000. I'm like, what? Get out of here. So I'm trying to use every type of resource I can, if there's an opportunity to do so, y'all. So hopefully that helps. You're welcome. Feel free if y'all need to leave. I'm gonna jump off soon.
The last
Uh,
question.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, all right. Do you think you could help us or help me identify pro bono accounting services for nonprofits? I recently reached out to I think it's like a nonprofit accounting system, a nonprofit accounting service, but they never did respond. And then I got registered with SCORE. And I'm working with a SCORE agent at the moment, but still having trouble actually finding an accounting, just more so to set up accounting system services. And then nothing full time, but just more so assistance with that.
Yes, yes. I would say thank you, Georgie, and I'll share with you. Sometimes I share about why inspire me to do this work, but I would say reach out to bookkeeping accounting services, and maybe that's one of their sponsorships. So when you're talking to businesses, always think about how you might help them, right? Because a lot of times they get bombarded by people asking them for stuff, and what you could do. Somebody's Georgiana says, I have an account that I'm happy to refer you to explore. All right, if that's a fit. So Georgiana said that, right? What I try to do is, especially because I've learned this from a person I paid to do marketing for me. And she's like, Karriem, stop thinking about your business and think about the other person's business. And how can you help their business out at the same time, seeing how you could be a partner with them, and maybe they could give you a sponsorship, right? So it might be like, hey, this accounting firm is looking to help out, is looking to get to do more business for nonprofits. All right. Well, I go to them and say, listen, maybe we could develop a partnership, and I could help refer other nonprofits to you, and for that you could give me some pro bono time to help me with my books. So it might be that opportunity. So and I'll answer your question, Georgiana. So I got into this understanding about grants just by working for an entity. It was called Community Development Financial Institution. And so we had a for-profit, nonprofit. 85% of my pay was from a grant from the Small Business Administration. So I started to learn that, hey, you could get grants to pay for stuff. And then during that work, I started to help people look at opportunities to get funding to pay for expenses or activities for their business. I'm like always working on this stuff, helping people out, right? And just recently, I really felt comfortable to come out and start consult and coach people around business grants, because during COVID there was a lot of fraud around this, especially with small businesses. People guaranteeing that you could get somebody a grant for this amount, blah blah blah. You pay them a fee. So I was never comfortable coming out and helping people until recently. And so how I help people is mostly as a coach and a consultant, and show them the process versus doing the work. Even though I do the work sometimes, but I really are showing people how you could learn it, and then you repeat that process over and over again. So it is funding out there. It's a lot to sift through, and you really got to find out to see which one is the best for you. So hopefully I help set up a 15-minute call with me, y'all. You know, and I appreciate y'all for joining.